Surprise, cockbags! I'm back with another Dragon Ball Super review, and today I'm going to be talking about the hit filler episodes. And yes, I'm aware the Great Saiyaman filler episodes are already out. They'll get their own video eventually. Right now, we're talking about the hit filler, and holy shit, guys. I love these two episodes. These were two very well-crafted episodes. I was not expecting them to be as well-crafted as they were. They were just fantastic pieces of entertainment, animation, great stuff. So, right from the outset, the episode opens with a cold open. Just Goku getting, like, shooting a blast in the air and falling over dead, and he gets found, and they confirm he is dead. And you have no context for who killed him, why he was killed, what even happened. I mean, if you saw, the next episode preview, you already know it was hit. But whatever, if you're pretending you never saw that, it's a brilliant fucking cold open to an episode. And it really gets you kind of invested, because, because the first 10 minutes of this episode is these little slice-of-life moments with Goku just kind of out and about, but he's constantly on edge, and, you already know, what's awaiting him, so, it keeps you kind of oh shit, he's sensing who's after him, and you get this whole kind of feeling of, dread throughout the entire episode, pretty much, even though it's also juxtaposed with these kind of cute slice-of-life moments, especially with, Goten and Gohan who are following around. Goten gets a fucking personality, just a smidge of one, when Gohan tries to give him the Great Saiyaman suit, and he's just like, nah, I'll just take the glasses, the outfit's lame. He's just, Gohan is just kind of heartbroken. He's just like, but you used to think it was so cool. And, that was a great moment. It's great to see Goten have a little bit of development, show a little bit of personality. Not that I think it'll ever develop or blossom into anything, because I seriously doubt Toriyama had anything to do with that, but whatever. But anyhow, this whole first half of the episode, like I said, it's these little slice-of-life moments with Goku, just kind of out and about, but he's constantly on edge, and it does create an atmosphere for the episode. This tension that's kind of building, but then it's, like I said, it's always kind of juxtaposed with that little bit of comedy. Even little things like whenever Bulma just hits Goku with her fucking car, and, Bulma gets really pissed off, goes to take a swing at Goku, and because he's in this combative mode, he dodges her hit. And it's just this thing of, why did you dodge me? And it's just how dare you? And then, Gohan and Goten are like, that's weird. Dad would usually just take the hit. Why did he... That's, okay then. And then, the following 5 minutes is awesome. This is, okay, this episode has great fucking cinematography. It has great storyboarding and atmosphere and pacing. But this is where, that atmosphere and that storyboarding really come into effect. Because we go to unknown planet, very cyberpunk aesthetic, very visually interesting. Oh my god, I want to, explore this world more. Because it's really cool, when you see Dragon Ball, here's this cool thing. It's just, a little vertical slice of, just, what's out there in the world of Dragon Ball that we never get to fucking see, really. And it really makes me wonder, oh man, I'd really like to see stories kind of really explore these things, instead of just kind of, like I said, showing these little vertical slices. But anyhow, we at least do get to see this really sweet cyberpunk city with these aliens, and we see Hit walking through it, and like I said, it is oozing with atmosphere, and it is just, it's a really good build-up, because you're not quite sure what Hit's doing, where he's at, why he's there. It's a nice little build-up, and then you get to this big mansion, and then, Hit Tokitobashi's, past the guards, gets into an elevator, Tokitobashi's past them, the guards on the top floor near, where this crime boss is, and then you just get this great conversation between Hit and his target, who's, like I said, is this big crime boss. Though, okay, here's the one problem I really had with this episode, which is, he freezes everyone in place, then unfreezes the mob boss to talk to him, and I'm like, how long does Hit's Tokitobashi last now? Because, one, I didn't know that he could unfreeze individual people, so that's a weird kind of expansion of his abilities, but not in, a hard-to-believe one. But the fact that he keeps them, he keeps the Tokitobashi going for so long to have a full conversation with this guy and then kill him, and we get to see a little taste of Hit's technique that he's going to be using against Goku, which is nice. And once again, it's full of like, you know, like nice little visuals, like when the mob boss drops, you know, his little chain like lands on Hit's shoe, Hit takes the shoe or takes the chain, and like, you know, you see it like hanging later, and you know, he has like kind of like this little Star Wars like hologram thing showing him his next target, and it's Goku. And that entire 5-minute sequence is absolutely phenomenal. It is, like I said, oozing with atmosphere, great shot composition, great pacing, just great tone. Like I said, like the Tokitabashi lasting so long is weird, but like I feel like it's lacking enough context to where like I'm not going to call bullshit on it, because I mean, I don't quite know what's going on really. So yeah, for all I know, maybe the Tokitabashi lasts longer if it's against like weak ass little people, and it only, you know, it's only time sensitive for, or maybe he's just, you know, maybe he just really extended the Tokitabashi now. Like, who knows? I don't know. And it's such a small, minor detail, and it's a small little detail that was used to create a really good scene out of it. So it's kind of like a upside downside. Like downside, that didn't really make a whole lot of sense in the context of what's been pre-established. Upside, it was used to frame a really cool scene that was very visually interesting. So let it slide a little bit on that one, I'm going to. Then we get to the last 5 minutes where Goku is explaining like, yeah, like Hit's after me, blah blah blah, and then he just takes off when Gohan and like none of them are looking, and Piccolo's like, oh shit, if Hit's after him, we need to like go find his ass now. And you know, we had like the confrontation. It's a quick confrontation. Goku goes down fast, and like, you know, he can't hit him. He can't hit Hit at all. Like none of his punches are connecting. None of his kicks. None of his blasts. Or actually, he doesn't even get to fire off a blast. He charges up a blast, and then Hit like does this like invisible energy punch and just crushes Goku's fucking chest in, stopping his heart. And then Goku fires a shot into the air and drops, getting us, you know, right to where that episode had began. So, you know, like, you know, the little two, like, bookends to that episode, and everything in between was just really strong. It was a fantastic, strong episode from beginning to end. Really, really dug it. Then we get to the next episode, and the next episode, also, really good. Animated by Naoki Tate. He has that very loose, rubbery, fluid style. A lot of people hate it. I personally really like it. I think it gives the animation a lot of energy. I think it gives the characters a lot of personality. I will say, though, that this episode isn't as well staged as the previous one. Like, the shot compositions and, like, you know, the storyboarding, the framing, all that, it just isn't quite as sharp as the previous episode. And it's probably, like, the most apparent when the episode starts with Goku in the exact same dead pose. And they use similar framing, but like compare how he looked at the end of the episode prior, and you know, and then like how he looks at the beginning of this episode, and you can see like, you know, dead Goku in the previous episode, it was more chilling, it was more haunting, it was once again more atmospheric, like just, you know, like his hair being tousled up, and like, you know, like the shading over his eyes really just conveyed this kind of cold, dead feeling to his body. Where here, he just kind of looked like, you know, his eyes were a little hazed out, and that was it. And it wasn't as visually striking as what we saw the previous episode. And that's kind of just like how this episode is overall. Like, it's not bad, not by a long shot. It's perfectly fine. It's perfectly adequate, you know, pacing and cinematography and all that jazz. It's just when you compare it to the episode that came before it, it does fall short. That being said, though, first off, I like the idea that, like, you know, Goku, like, just before dying, fired a shot because, you know, that's what resuscitates him. He fired a shot straight up, it came straight back down, it hit him, and it resuscitated his body. That's cool. A little weird because you would think, like, since he's dead, like, his body would be less resilient, kind of like, you know, like if you drop your guard, you know, basic shit can hurt you. You would think that a blast that would, like, you know, cause that big of an explosion would probably vaporize his body instead of resuscitating him. But, whatever. Dragon Ball's been super inconsistent about that shit, so what the fuck ever. From that point on, though, it's basically just Goku goes to find Hit and figure out his ability, which basically he figures out that Hit can do like these invisible punches. Basically, he's projecting invisible ki to punch Goku, and like that's what he's collapsing his chest with. And from there, it's basically just, it's a fight scene. It's a very cool fight scene. It's a really nice looking fight scene. It's very fluid and it has a lot of energy to it. Once again, Naokitate, not a big surprise there. Very minimalist in its character detail and stuff, which apparently pissed some people off, and it's a little off model. But whatever, it's kind of, it's what you deal with when you're using Naokitate. You get really fluid, nice looking like animation, but then like the necessary details aren't all that detailed. But whatever, I thought it looked great. And then we have Champa and Vados watching, and then we get the reveal that it was Vados who hired Hit. But then it's like, wait, but someone had Vados hire Hit, and then it's just like, and like the mystery kind of thickens because you start wondering like where are they going with that? Good payoff. Get to that in a moment. But they also expand on the Tokitabashi. They explain that like, oh well, Hit doesn't freeze time necessarily. He's literally skipping time, and all that time that he's skipping, he gets to store. Basically, it's kind of like a pocket dimension. So, like all those times he has skipped time, he is storing it himself, and then he can just use it as a pocket dimension to avoid getting hit. And that's a really cool concept. It's really creative. I really like the idea. That being said, it does conflict both with how the Tokitabashi was shown during the tournament and how they explained the Tokitabashi during the tournament. Because like they explain it, and what they explained didn't match up with what they showed, and then what they explained in this episode doesn't match up with what we saw or what we were told last time. Which, I mean, the way it was explained last time, you can assume that was just unreliable narrator on Jocko's part, because I think it was Jocko was the one that came up with, like, explaining, like, oh, he's freezing time. But here, I guess we have, like, the more reliable narrator that gives us, like, this is how it actually works. Oh, okay, but then it really still conflicts with how it was displayed, because it really did look like, he was, stopping time, moving through stop time, and then Goku was somehow able to move through stop time as well. And, yeah, it raises its own questions about that, but, I feel like, that kind of still falls back on that tournament not really explaining things well or displaying it well. Here, I feel like what's explained and what's shown are more consistent. And as far as that goes, I thought it was fantastic. It was a really cool idea. It made Hit come off as even more threatening with way more interesting abilities. The finale, I will say, is a little confusing because it's like Goku powers up and it looks like Hit creates some sort of like time pocket that I guess Goku just shatters through. I don't know if he was using his Tokitabashi time, like where he kind of goes to that little pocket dimension to avoid being hit, and then somehow still gets damaged, or if he was using, because it looked like he was using Tokitabashi because it did the sound effect, it did like the visual cue for it, but then it looked like it was being shattered through by Goku's ki. So I didn't really quite understand visually what they were trying to convey there, other than Goku somehow powered through Hit. Just Goku's just pure raw power, just completely like defused whatever technique that Hit was using and dropped both of them. So that was weird, and that was like the one black mark I'm going to hold against this episode, where it's just like the ending could have been a bit more, like they could have kind of explained that a bit better, or visually, or just through the visuals, kind of convey that information to the audience a bit better. That being said, though, everything else was fantastic, and then we get the big reveal of the final, at the end of the episode, which is Goku was the one that hired Hit the entire time, and I love that reveal, because, first off, it kind of fits the tone of these little slice of life, cute episodes that are a little bit more on the jokey side. Yes, we can get some serious fights here and there, but they're never super serious, and here, the big reveal is that Goku hired him. And I think that's a way better, reveal than anything else we could have gotten, because the whole time I was thinking, I'm like, okay, well, if someone's going to hire Hit to kill Goku, it has to be someone that knows Goku. But everyone who knows Goku would pretty much be in Universe 7. Also, how could Hit get from Universe 6 to Universe 7? It's like, I mean, he would need, like, that basically that little transportation cube of the gods to get from one universe to the other, as has been pre-established. So he would need that to do so. And then, so, like, like Vados being the one who hired him, that made sense because she could transport him. But then it became like, well, then who spoke to Vados? So then, when they do the reveal, it ends up being really satisfying. Because it's like, yeah, that's totally a thing that Goku would do. It completely fits with all the pre-established rules that we know. Like, how did Hit get there? Oh, well, Vados brought him there. Like, why did Vados hire Hit? Because Whis spoke to Vados, who was spoken to by Goku, because Goku specifically wanted to hire Hit to kill him so he could face Hit at his full potential. It's a great fucking concept with a pretty funny payoff. It was good. Another thing I wanted to bring up that I kind of forgot to mention was the Vegeta subplot. It's kind of like, keeps cutting away to Vegeta sparring with Whis, and that really, I don't know, it just kind of just, goes on to have like a joke about how Vegeta like lied to them about like some steak with Granny's secret sauce on it, and it was just kind of dumb. It was that those scenes were kind of, because like it gets spliced right in the middle of the Hit Goku fight, and it's so totally at odds with the action sequences we were just seeing that it felt unnecessary. It felt completely tacked on. I feel like that could have been skipped entirely, and they could have just had Vegeta, Whis, and Beerus show up when they did, and just like that could have, you didn't need to have that other dialogue going on. That being said, though, I think this is a fantastic episode, or 2 episodes. It was a great little mini story arc thing. I really enjoyed it. I can't wait to talk about the Great Saiyaman storyline, little mini arc thing, because I have a lot of things to say about that. But yeah, so far though, like, god damn it, it's really ironic that I stopped talking about Dragon Ball Super right when I started really loving Dragon Ball Super. I'm like, oh man, Dragon Ball Super's so good, guys. Which is such a weird statement to say, but yeah, it is. And like, these episodes have been fantastic. I think this really kind of reinforces the idea that, yeah, Dragon Ball Super should probably be a slice of life series, because it does like these little character moments and these little small stories really well, but they always seem to fall apart when they're trying to do long format storytelling. I think that's like the big issue. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to get excited for the Universal Survival Arc, not until the Universal Survival Arc starts proving itself to me. That being said, though, I am going to enjoy these little filler episodes for as long as they last. Also, if you guys want to hear my opinions week to week about these episodes, I've been doing little Twitter-exclusive reviews. You can, like, even if you don't have a Twitter, you can just go to my Twitter page. Like, usually the day after, like, the new episode drops, go through like the things that I've posted. You'll see the video. It'll always be labeled Dragon Ball Super episode whatever, Twitter exclusive review, and you can hear like my little 2-minute summary thoughts on the episode. Also, if you want to hear more thorough reviews on a weekly basis, as per usual, I will always always recommend Mozilla Vulpix. Her reviews are the best. They are my personal favorite. I always try to make sure I watch those. She's very thorough. She's really analytical. She comes from a very different perspective than I do, which I always find really interesting. So if you just want to hear a different perspective in general, hers is probably one of the most unique in the fandom. She's more positive than I am, and that's not a bad thing. So yeah, go check her out if you haven't. And go check out my Twitter exclusive reviews if you want to see those. If you don't want to like wait for the Gohan episodes of it, because I've already reviewed those episodes on my Twitter. So if you don't want to wait for like the full, more in-depth video in a few days or a week or whatever, then go ahead and check out my little 2-minute thoughts. Till next time, guys. Xeon out.